The entitled crybabies and the depleted coomers are going to be after you when you are on semen retention. And what you've got to let these people know is that you're not going to let them contaminate your soul. They're not going to be able to devour your spirit. And because they will try, these people will try. The people that are trying to go, specifically the men that are trying to go from simp to pimp, and you're just trying to be who you are, yeah, they're going to go for it. They're going to go for you hard because they want your strength. They want your spiritual strength, though. I'm 5'6", and I cannot tell you how many men that are like 6 foot and above and 220 pounds at my gym plus have been almost like seeking my energy or staring at me, these monitoring spirits. Like, dudes just be acting strange, okay? It's almost like at this point the men are acting as strange as the women. And the women, it's a given when you're on semen retention. The women are going to be attracted to you, and it's because of your presence and your energy. It's not necessarily always having to do about looks, okay? But I do want to welcome everybody that is new here and everybody that has continued to show up to another Semen Retention Sunday episode here on the Regal Change channel. And what we do here on Semen Retention Sundays is talk about celibacy and nofap and all of the kind of topics that we can talk about in between in regards to this very specific topic, because I think the world would change overnight even more so than it already is if we were able to really, as men, hold the line and lead by example in this and actually say, no, we're going to follow God's laws, statutes, and commandments, and we're going to do what we can to honor the Most High with everything that we have to go for ourselves. Because a lot of the times people will be so enthralled with the things that they're trying to get across. They're trying to get a point across, or they're trying to find fault in things. A lot of the times people just completely miss the whole shebang in the message, because people are trying to focus so much on trying to find a reason to hate something. And that's what I really, it's part of probably the only thing that I don't like about content creation, is because people will always try to find some reason to hate. And it's like, you guys that do that, I kind of feel sorry for you, because you're missing the whole message. You're missing the whole point. You know, I'll listen to anybody if they have spirit and truth. I don't care how much in status you are, how much money you have, how much money you don't have, how much status you don't have, etc. I don't care about that. All I care about is, are you being authentic to who you are, and are you speaking the truth into being? It doesn't get much harder than that, and it doesn't get much more simpler than that. That's all that it needs to be, really, in my opinion. But a lot of the times, these entitled crybabies, the depleted coomers, they are just going to be out here trying to take from you and trying to learn from you simultaneously. That's what I've also noticed, is because I've had a few people tell me that they've seen certain content creators almost like mimic my stuff, and I don't really care. Like, you can't mimic me, man. There's a lot of things that you can do in the world, but one of those things is you can't mimic me. And the reason is because I'm on semen retention. I'm on God's program. I'm not on anybody else's program. I'm not even on my own program necessarily. I do my own thing, but I'm on God's plan for me. I'm on God's plan. And if you're operating on God's plan, it doesn't matter. Like, and a lot of the times people will say like, oh, you know, like people are stealing your titles, or people are like using your titles. It's like, I don't have a copyright on any titles or anything. So, and the things that I want to talk about and the things that I feel like need to be said more in our society, I mean, go for it. If you feel like you have some information that could be applicable, go for it. I'm all about that. But you got to be careful about knowledge, and you've got to be careful about power, because what I don't like is stealing somebody's identity. That's what I don't like. And that's what narcissists do anyway, okay, by the way. Narcissists try to just steal your life force, which is your sexual energy for all intents and purposes. And the reason why is because narcissists try to take the creative force for you, because they don't have any creative force in themselves. That's why they're depleted coomers. That's why they're entitled crybabies. And all of these people are being exposed right now in our society, by the way. You can tell very clearly who's staying on the path, who's staying in attack formation, and who's not. Because if you're in attack formation still, and you're not just like sitting back, hanging out, just chilling, I know that you're one of the people that are wanting to keep it real, that you want to just continue to move forward. And I don't need to worry about those kinds of people in my society that I live in, because they're going to be contributing no matter what. They're going to be like, there are two kinds of people in the world, really. There are assets and there are liabilities. And the assets are the people that are contributing, that are giving value, providing value, and you're going to get what you deserve based off of the input that you give out into the universe. And this is something that you'll learn on semen retention. If you go for more than a month, I guarantee you that you'll start to see certain things happen that you've never seen before. And the reason being is because what you're doing is you're going through the fire of refinement for your soul, and you're completely going through a different kind of purification process where you're abstaining from any kind of fornication, adultery, and unlawful, in accordance to God's laws, commands. So you're living and operating in God's laws, statutes, and commandments, and in doing so, you're going to be living a life that most people just dream about. Even though you may not have the material things, you may not have the status, you may not have the power, quote unquote, but your soul, your spirit, because you are being fueled by the Most High God, you're going to be so much more powerful, imaginative, and creative than anybody else around you could ever possibly imagine. And you have to visualize, okay? A lot of people talk about manifesting on semen retention and all that as well. And it's true, you can manifest super easy, especially if you're following in the law, statutes, and commandments, and you're not trying to fall into any transgressions or iniquities. You might fall into sin a little bit because not everybody's perfect, but when you sin, you're doing it because it's kind of an accidental thing sometimes. And I'm not saying that's what sin is, by the way. I'm just saying that sometimes we all fall short of the glory of God. And so what you have to focus on is making sure that you stay fired up, you stay on fire for the Most High, and you do what He wants you to be doing. If you stay obedient, everything's going to be clear, and you're not going to be that depleted coomer. You're not going to be that entitled crybaby. You're not going to be the person losing their mind over some election, because that's what people are doing right now in America anyway. In America, people are losing their freaking minds. Some of them are. Like where I live in the physical community, everything seems pretty neutral for the most part, which I'm actually okay with, because I'd rather have a little bit more of a neutrality than one way or another. But I've been sent some crazy videos and photos from people in the Regal Change Academy and community, and man, oh man, like some of these ladies are losing their minds, man. They're like at a gas station. This like 250-pound woman is like screaming that American is mentally ill and that she's sick, and or that America's sick and they need help and all that. Meanwhile, she's the fat lady at the gas station screaming at people about how crazy they are. And it's like, y'all gotta be kidding me, okay? Because gluttony is a sin. Hello, gluttony is a sin. And why is it a sin? It's because, well, gluttony is something, and so is lust. Like, these are sins that are not necessarily as punishable to the extremities. And the reason for that is because, well, you kind of like, well, sex is, biologically speaking, like your second most fundamental, next to self-preservation, biological urge. So, like, you kind of have to have that in some way, because that's just the way that God made us. We also need to eat in order to stay alive. We need to be nutritious and choose nutritious meals and all that to stay healthy. So there's that. And so, like, there's just certain things that we have to do, but sins like heresy or wrath or sloth. These are things that are going to be a little bit more punishable. Betrayal, for example, as well. These are things that are going to be more punishable because you're actually giving into the system of the devil. You're actually just allowing the devil to rule over you. And because the Most High God allowed Satan, because he has free will just as much as anybody else. Like, you can create your own world, and that's exactly what Satan did. That's what the Matrix is. And so you have to recognize whether or not you're operating in the Matrix or not. And if you are operating in the Matrix, you've got to look at these depleted Coomers, and you've got to look at these entitled crybabies and ask yourself, do I really want to be among these kinds of people anymore? And if the answer is no, then how do you get out? How do you wake up to this? Like, what exactly are you looking for? Because if you don't even know what you're looking for, which is the truth, that's exactly what we're all looking for. We're looking for truth, and we're looking for spirit. And that in of itself is the Most High God. Look at John 4:24. Those that worship God worship in spirit and truth. Okay? This is what life is about, and this is how semen retention is going to get you, to propel you toward this state where people are not going to just be seeing your physical body when you're out and about. They're going to be seeing your spirit. And this is what's going to be so different about you. I cannot tell you how many times I've had people, specifically women, come up and tell me that I just stand out, or that I'm just something that's different about me, and in a good way, and I'm kind of weird, but in a good way. And it's because I don't necessarily adhere to any of the social structures. I'm just me, who I am. And like I said, I'm on God's plan. I'm on God's program. I'm not on anybody else's. I'm not even on my program. Because I know what I want, I know what I need, but I know also that God knows more than me, and I know that I need to not lean on my own understanding, and I need to lean on the Most High God's. So with all that being said, you got to make sure that when you're on semen retention, asking yourself for the truth, just asking God for discernment and the truth shall set you free. Well, there's a verse that says more along the lines, it's not necessarily that the truth will set you free, it's that the truth, in the Bible, it says something more along the lines like the truth will be like, how do I say this? I can't remember the exact, because I don't think the truth will set you free is necessarily right. But it is something to think about. But all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. Anybody that does want to join the Regal Change Academy, we do have the free Discord available, as well as the paid community. The paid community is $10 a month, okay? And in that $10 a month, you get weekly group calls, Bible studies, and classes and engagements that you would not get in the Discord community. But in the Discord community, you still get a bunch of different kinds of free resources, as well as certain kinds of levels that you can check out inside that community in Discord. But you also get that godly community as a whole as well. I also want to thank everybody that has been moving from the YouTube platform over to the X and the Rumble platforms, and everybody that's been DMing me on Instagram as well. I appreciate your support. And specifically with X, I want to see more people on X. The reason being is because I think that's going to be where a lot of the censorship will be dissolved as far as a social media platform. And so I know YouTube is my biggest platform, but I do want to be able to grow in other places and not put all my eggs in one basket, but still be able to not have too many irons in the fire. And with all that being said, peace be with you all. Till next time.